There you go. Alright, we are back.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was.
Hello, mortals, and welcome to another installment of How To
Vangood.
This time our topic is magic numbers.
Magic numbers, because a thing that we've noticed at not just locals, but even at the regional last year, is that no one seems to know how to make numbers against anything higher than 10K.
And it's not rocket science, people. If you're not sure what your opponent is playing, just sit back and chill. You can find out 3 turns in.
Yep, so let's start with 11Ks. See what the best ways to do this is.
Against 11Ks, your solo, obviously 11K and 12K attackers are your best friends. These things can stand on their own and force out at least 5 out of the opponent if they want to stop these. And a lot of the decks with 11Ks are packing a high crit count. They don't often have their 5K shields around, so blocking that is a lot more painful for them than it should be. They'll often end up overguarding. If you can make 21K columns, then go right ahead. A lot of decks have access to them. Royal Paladins with their Palamedes.
Occasionally
Gold Paladins with their Rearguard Garmor Charge Gall columns, and any decks with, Power Breakers and their partner boosters is always a good thing. Pale Moon have their Turquoise Beast Tamer and Midnight Invader columns.
Angel Feathers have the Calamity Flame Pegasus thing.
As long as Shamsiel is intact, and you've got Dark Irregulars with their Amon Basilisk, and those things are always going to put in work against them. Even if you don't have the back row, you're still packing a 12 or 11 in front of it. So you can just wait for that to fall into place naturally. And the center line, well, there are a lot of options for like 26 and 31, especially in the coming Booster 10 format. Dear Jesus, but we'll get to that in like 6 months.
Alright, so let's go on to the next number, the single card for the most part, 12K Vanguard, known as MLB, Majesty Lord Blaster.
He is a bit more tricky, but you can often deal with him the same way you deal with 11s. You've got your Executioner clones that attack for 12 all on their own. And then generally you just need 17, which isn't that hard. There are any number of ways you can reach that. Doesn't even need to be all vanilla. Like even basic things such as this. Using that as an extreme example, that's a 17K column right there. 22 is really difficult to hit in the rear guard though, especially with blaster blades just cutting down your cards all along the way. So I wouldn't stress yourself too much about it. 22 in the middle is doable. Mostly you're going to be overshooting it though.
Yes, very true.
There are some 11Ks on the horizon with partner boosters that Soul Blast for an 11K boost. So those are cool too.
Always good
but
thing.
Most of that matchup is just not letting MLB hit you. Like any other Vanguard that has a nasty skill.
Yep, that's pretty much always for 12Ks. It's only him for the most part, so not much else to talk about. Then on to the main reason we're doing this video, due to the upcoming set Booster 5.
Draconic Overlord! The end!
Yeah, the 13K Cross Ride.
He's not the only one.
Yeah, but there's others on the horizon.
There was this huge internet movement a while back, just trying to petition and get these cards watered down. Of course, it's to no avail. Booster Road's a business. They're not going to shoot themselves in the foot. Most people complain about it is that in order to reach such high numbers, 18, you mostly have to turn your deck into vanilla beat, and that's not necessarily true, because sure, you can make an 18K column like this, but there are plenty of decks with their, 11K attackers, to pair with their 7k boosters. Or, even those 12k attackers, like this guy, going with any 6.
Boom.
Sure, it sort of limits your options in terms of what you can feasibly play. Decks like, Alice, Trapezist aren't going to go off very well. But that's just part of adapting to the format. It's not an unplayable mess of garbage,
Right.
like some would have you believe.
And there's a lot who would make you believe that.
The main...
Well, that's just appropriate, isn't it?
I'm completely okay with this. What are words?
I don't know, man, but anyway, continue.
The main issue with the 13k isn't so much hitting it, it's defending against it that becomes a tad tricky, because with their own 8k booster, they're swinging at you for 21. And often forcing more shield out of you than you can out of them, so it can take a little luck. Another advantage you can use against them is the fact that they mobilize really slowly compared to most other decks. They're not going to get rolling and start killing you until turn 4, and that's a lot of time. Especially for fast decks like this one. That can just maintain 3 attacks from the get-go and don't even care.
The other thing I think you mentioned at one point you can do to even prevent it from happening in the first place is just to rush their Vanguard.
Yeah, that's the general idea. Because even if they've got 13k defense, if they're sitting at 4 damage, they're crying regardless. Because they have to block every attack that comes their way. Essentially. They don't just want to die to those crits. And anything that doesn't make numbers on their Vanguard can always hit a rear guard. It's a safe move.
But yeah, it's pretty easy to do. I mean, heck, when I was at the regional, the only reason that I didn't get any further was because I made the silly mistake of going off my 11k onto a 10k because I was trying to do a push.
Ironically.
Not realizing that they had no way to get above 20.
Yep.
And I could have just sat on that forever and they couldn't do a thing about it.
And of course the whole magic number concept applies to other stages of the game too. Let's say your opponent rode their 8k. They're automatically in a good position because they're really difficult to hit. You need your own 8ks to do that if you want to swing at them all by yourself. Or, your opponent rode Brutal Jack. You're probably not going to get through them very easily that turn. That's one reason I think most Nova Grappler decks should be playing that card, just so they don't die miserably.
I didn't even realize there were decks that weren't using them.
Yeah, anything that is big on the defense early game matters too. And if your opponent's silly enough, ride their perfect guard. Maybe the situation demanded they do it. You can easily just throw down your own 6Ks or make those 16K columns against them, and they're in a world of hurt because they can't do a whole lot to stop you. They might be eating 3 damage if you went first, and that's just terrible.
Yeah, especially considering you can't use those 2s if you get them stuck in your hand to block for you. But yeah, that's the basics of the magic number.
Just hit hard, and remember, intervals of 5, and if you're fighting Angel Feather, intervals of 7.
Yeah.
Just in case. But it's not rocket science.
Yeah, so for those who think it's harder than it is, it's really not. Just
if you end up in a bad position, it's probably your fault. Because you didn't prepare ahead of time for what they might have written.
Yep, there's always a possibility. You don't just assume they're going to put a 10k out there. Especially now that the Booster 5 is coming out. We'll probably be seeing a lot more Kagero running
And
around.
the pattern only is going to increase later. Soon 11K is going to be the standard. 10Ks are almost going to be non-existent.
Yeah, alright, I think that's
In fact,
everything.
having a Vanguard above 10K is almost a competitive standard.
I think the only exception right now, anyway, is Spike Brothers and possibly Angel Feather because they
Paladin variants, because they're so aggro.
because they're so aggro, it doesn't even matter.
They
with
can
them.
sometimes manage.
It's funny how no matter what thing we're talking about, it always comes back to Gold Paladins.
It's always Gold Paladins. But don't play Gold Paladins after Booster 5. At least not of the non-Garmor variety, because you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, because those ends are gonna eat you, and eat you hard. Yeah, that's everything.
Eating
We will-
puppies.
We will be back with another video of some kind, I'm sure.
I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
You're just kind of talking. Bye.